Hello and welcome, everybody. It is great to have you all here. Welcome this evening to our webinar, 21 Ways to Get and Stay Motivated as a Business Owner. We are very excited to have you all on. Welcome and thank you for taking the time. And this webinar is hosted by myself, Alison Wheeler, and also Gary Ryan. You would have seen that in the information that you registered on. So very excited to have you all here. Welcome again. I can see we have Dennis Jing, Rom Prosper, not sure of your name, but welcome. Great to have you all here. You will also see that you are all muted. If you do have questions, comments, you can utilize the chat, which is, if you don't know where that is, down the bottom. You can click the chat, you can type questions, responses. That would be great. Use the chat function. So again, welcome everyone. We will get ourselves underway. I do just want to go through the T's and C's and disclaimers. So you guys are all adults. You can read them. There's no guarantee of results. It takes effort and communication. There are also other external factors that we will not be accounting for tonight. They are things that may be in your control, but may also be outside of your control. Largely, it comes down to personal accountability in order to get results. We are not here to give you professional advice. If you need to get legal advice or any other professional advice, do make sure that you seek that. And again, some of you have the VIP pass. I will speak to that shortly, but the VIP pass, people do get the recording. So what can you actually expect from tonight's webinar? So to cover that off, we do expect in the 10X world, if you are unfamiliar with 10X, then, strap in, because we will be challenging some of your beliefs tonight. You're here to learn further about how to get motivated and how to stay motivated. You may also sit there and say, no, I'm not going to do that, or no, that's not relevant to me. We expect that to happen again as well, because it will push up against some of your current beliefs or some of your current actions. But at the end of the day, like us, when I first came across this information, I didn't know either. So, you don't know what you don't know until you do know, but you do know when things aren't working for you. So we will challenge your beliefs. Number 3, expect to be uncomfortable. If life of business, right? I'm pretty sure that most of you, if you are business owners, are probably already used to being uncomfortable. However, we can still get very, very comfortable. Tonight, we are going to look to challenge you to become a little bit more uncomfortable so that you can gain that motivation that you want, and that consistency of motivation, not the one that comes and goes. We want you to focus on how you can implement everything. How can you take what you learned tonight? They're very implementable steps. How can you take what you're learning and actually implement it in your life? At the end of the day, I'm fairly sure that you are all here, as I was when I first came across this information, and Gary as well, here to learn, here to change your life, here to improve your business. But that doesn't just come sitting there and going, oh, that's very interesting. It comes from going from here to there, and that happens through implementation of the steps. Number 5, practical ideas. As I was saying, immediate implementation. So do have a pen and paper ready so that you can take notes. And I do love this quote by Grant, which is, work like you are getting paid 10x your wildest dreams. So this will be about doing that. And you will see in the chat, we have just dropped in. Some of you may have the VIP access already. If you do not have VIP access, what does that give you? It gives you VIP access, gives you the workbook, and you will also be able to get the recording of this webinar. So if you want VIP access, it's all of $9. You can jump on, click on the link and purchase your VIP access, which will give you the recording, and it will also give you the workbook. So you can go back through this information over and over and over again. As is with all information, it's the multiple times of going through it. Generally, we don't get it all. We're going to cover 21 principles. That's quite a number we will be covering tonight. So let's keep moving so we can get through all of them tonight. So congratulations again. You have turned up. That is number one. Always turn up. That is the number one part of having success in your life and in your business, but also discipline precedes motivation. Motivation can come and go, but it's that discipline that will keep you going. So discipline precedes motivation. And I thought it was important as well to actually cover off, what does motivation mean? So some of you, we all have very different definitions. I know until I looked it up, I was like, oh, okay. So the definition of motivation, a reason or reasons for acting and behaving in a particular way, a motivating force, stimulus, or influence as a drive or incentive. So what we are going to be covering tonight is really those behavioral things and making you a powerful force for moving forward towards where you want to go. So that is the definition. Hopefully we've cleared that up for everyone. What are we talking about tonight? We are talking about motivation. So a little bit about us each. I will speak a little bit to myself. I'll then hand it over to my partner in crime, Gary Ryan, and he can introduce himself. So a little bit about why us, why 10X, and why now. My background, I have been a business owner for many years. My original background is as an occupational therapist, did that for a long time, worked within organizations, helping them to stop injuring and hurting their people, learned a lot about, leadership and change and organizations from the inside and from the outside as well. Went on to coaching and then built a very successful network marketing business, built that up to 7 figures. And then again, back to building up a coaching business, many iterations. I've also been a professional athlete. I am also a #1 bestseller as well, a mum and a wife, and also a dog mum. So life is busy. So yes, 100%. I have had to learn to 10X and also learn how to stay motivated, because some days you're over here and you're very much not motivated. I'm sure you've all felt that. And other days you're over here, but why? How can you drive that motivation? How can you ensure that you can get back on track? So when you get off track, you can get back on track. And that will be what we will be covering tonight. But I'd like to hand it over to Gary to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Alison. Really appreciate it. Welcome, folks. Great to see you on the call, folks. Great to see you, Janine, Dennis. Great to see you, Renata. Thank you for having your cameras on, folks. Great to see you, Jay, Jing, Rom, Lalani, AR, Hamish. If you're happy to put your cameras on, folks, that would be awesome. So I've been in business for 18 years. I'm a 5-time author, 4-time best-selling author, ran 11 marathons, have 5 kids, and absolutely love 10X, because for my business in 18 years, I've been helping leaders sleep better, help their employees sleep better. I've been helping them lead and build high performance cultures, and with the 10X material, helping businesses grow. Because one of the challenges that we know everyone's facing, particularly in both Australia and New Zealand and a lot of the Australian Pacific region, is that there are challenges going on with our economy. And a lot of business owners right now are feeling the pinch. You're feeling the pinch of the economy. So many folk I'm talking with are saying, hey, my funnel's drying up. There's not as much action happening. And so that gets a bit demotivating. What we're planning to do tonight is to get you up the other end. We're going to give you 21 strategies as business owners, leaders, possibly sales managers. So just in the chat, type the words, letters for B for business owner, M for manager, L for leader. Maybe you're just a career person, so type the letter C in the chat. Give us a sense for what your role is so that we can understand. So again, it's B for business owner, L for leader, M for manager. Type it in the chat for us. Or if you're here for career purposes, please pop that in, because all of them are going to benefit tonight. So thanks there. Awesome work. Thanks, Jay, business owner. Lani's a business and leader. Yeah, we've got all 3 for Dennis. Sienna's a manager. We've got also a business owner from Renata there too. There's a few more we'd love to hear from you. Use the chat, folks. Even if you're on your phones, you pop up the chat and do that. Thank you, Hamish. Okay, leader and career as well. That's awesome. So we're all feeling the pinch, right? But one of the things about 10X, and what you need to understand about Alison and I, is that there are 46 elements of study that we both had to pass just to become one of the 550 global 10X coaches. We had to put in the equivalent of an MBA level of study. And I have 3 degrees, including a Master's of Management myself. You heard Alison's got her degree. We had to put in the equivalent study. 10X is not a weekend license program, I can tell you, folks. To get certified, we then had to go and pass a test. We actually had to go to the USA to do that. And then we had to be selected based on performance as one of the first 33 global elite coaches. So you have with you tonight the only elite coaches, 10X elite coaches in all of the Australian Pacific region. And soon, if you do choose to continue to go forward with us in any way and join our group mentoring program, you will have both of us. You'll get double that 10X benefit. So what you'll see is that Alison and I model everything 10X. Your job is to take notes, as Alison said, to mimic it and to master it over time. So for wherever you are, and we've been there too, believe me, I had 90% of my business walk out of the door in the first 5 days of the pandemic. If you had anything like that happen to you in the pandemic, type the word me in the chat. And that set me on a hunt, because what I discovered was I had become comfortable in my business's success. And not that anyone could predict that a pandemic would come along, but that taught me that my business was vulnerable. And so I went looking for a product that I could learn myself to close my own gap in my own vulnerability. And that's when I discovered 10X. And I went, boom, this is the answer. Because with 10X, I've actually learned you can create your own economy. If you'd like to be able to create your own economy, despite what's going on in the global economy and the Australian and New Zealand economy, type the letter M in the chat, folks, because believe it or not, you can do it. And the starting point, yes, Dennis, thank you very much. It is your motivation. So this is a key point. Financial hardships that business owners face come as a result of not being able to sell products and services in quantities great enough and at prices high enough to make the business profitable and viable. You'll see that Alison and I have got our 2 best-selling books that we've released over the last 2 months. So we've had 2 bestsellers in the last 2 months, practicing everything 10X to make that happen. You can go check them out on Amazon if you so desire. And as Grant Cardone himself says, if you're not first, you're last. If you type in Grant Cardone, if you don't know who he is, you will find out very, very quickly. He proved in Undercover Billionaire that you could make $1 million in 90 days without your name, without your resources, without a place to even live for the first night, and only $100 in your pocket. If you want to go check that out to see the evidence and the proof that 10X works, there it is. And what we do is we help business owners that are facing this financial hardship down this end, which, as I described, I've been there too. I was there when 90% of my business walked out of the door at the start of the pandemic in March 2020, to being up the other end where you've got a highly viable, full funnel, functioning business that is profitable to enable you to live the life that you live. And the gap that business owners have is that they're experts in whatever you're expert in. You're expert hairdresser, you're expert pharmacist, you're an expert mechanic, you're an expert. In fact, feel free to pop your industry in the chat, folks. Whatever you're expert at, you're expert at that. And a lot of people's mindset is that means that I'm automatically a business management expert. And unfortunately, the evidence is overwhelmingly true, with 60% of businesses across Australia and New Zealand out of business in the first 3 years. In the first year, 20% are out of business, and within 10 years, 95% cease to exist. So with Alison and I, you've got 2 business owners that are actually in that 5%, that top 95th percentile of businesses that have survived over 10 years. Office admin, thank you. Translation, Jing. Thank you, Janine and Jing, for dropping that in. So you're an expert in that space, but are you an expert at marketing? Are you an expert at sales? And have you got people to hold you to account for that? So before we get into the content, we have our group mentoring program. It's every Tuesday evening until July 2025. We promise 48 sessions of that. We've got our 45-minute session. So this is all about closing the gap from your business management knowledge to you being an expert on business management in the same level as you being your own industry expert, like in office administration, as an example. They're all 45 minutes to an hour. That's where we educate you. We get to practice these principles. There is accountability to turn up. You actually have to set your accountabilities. We have a WhatsApp group where they're held and they are monitored and reported on. So you get to commit to yourself. You get to stay motivated. We do a rotation on 10x mindset, 10x marketing, 10x sales, and 10x follow up. And you have access to all session recordings. There's already, folks, over 33 hours worth of content that if you choose to join us, you get immediate access to, that gets added to every single week. Now, what you'll see is that is normally $297 per month. Tonight only, and it seriously is, tonight only, it's $197 per month. That's a $1,200 saving just because you chose to show up tonight. There's a link in the chat for you to go and access that amazing opportunity right now. And this is just the site that you'll be going to. You'll see that you've got, if you're stuck at your business, if you're unable to control time, if you're lacking confidence, have low revenue, don't have enough traffic coming in, you don't know how to prospect and generate leads, we are going to close that gap and teach you all of that material, folks. So if you choose to join us, where you're down here with your knowledge, we're going to get you all the way up to here. Now, you came here for 21 lessons of motivation. We're going to prove to you tonight that we are serious. We're going to give you this authentic content. Remember, tonight's the only opportunity for you to be able to go and get that opportunity that we are sharing with you now. So let's go and get into the content. So you might see over the bottom left-hand side of your screen, anything you do not know about your business, you end up with no control from your prospects. The K and the N represent knowledge and wisdom, folks. Without knowledge and wisdom, you get no's. That's from Grant Cardone. And over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see what we're actually sharing with members of the group mentoring program over the next few weeks, the 10 core values of the road to the sale. You'll be able to make out a couple of them right there, but we're going to be teaching the specifics of that. And that's just one tiny little example of all the things. And look, there's people that pay to join us just for that list of 10 things that they can implement immediately in their business. So let's get straight into the content. Alison, let's go.
All right, so let's cover off the first three. Now, I am sure that some of you, like me, your motivation comes and goes. So how do you deal with that? These 21 principles are going to help you in your business and in your life every day to from flailing motivation to steadfast motivation. So one of the first one is do a little bit more than the day before every day. The 1% rule, look for 1% improvement every single day. Right? Not looking to change everything, because it's non-sustainable. If you try and change everything all at once, we lose momentum, we lose motivation. You might be able to sustain that maybe for 3 days, maybe for a week. Look at the New Year's resolutions people make. Perfect example, right? By February, actually, let's be real, by halfway through January, if you're lucky, most people are off that wagon of their New Year's resolution. So number one, look for small incremental improvement. Look to be better every single day. Could you do a little bit more? Could you turn up and be present a little bit more? What else can you do or be in order to be a little bit better every single day? This is about living to your potential. In order to be motivated, you want to be living into your potential. That's number one. Number two, stay around hitters and winners. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Gary just presented our group mentoring offer. Why is that actually important? Because so often we're surrounded by the wrong people. We don't necessarily have the supports around us or people in our corner going, yes, you can. Or if we have a bad day, they're like, oh, slow down. Don't do as much, oh, it's all right, just stop and consolidate. No, we want to keep going. We've got to keep going through that. It's not stop and consolidate. It's work out the K and the W that we're missing and then go, move again. You want people rallying in your corner going, yes, you can do it. That is number two. Number three, hey, look at you, Gary, you're on the screen. That's cool. except I can't see you. You're covering up the words for everyone. I like that though. It's very cool. Don't know how you did it, but it's cool. If we can put it back up. No, still there. Look at how things are possible, not impossible. So this is your viewpoint, your attitude. How are you looking at everything? Are you looking at everything as, oh, it's impossible, I can't do it? Or are you looking at, oh, what if it was possible? Look at the what ifs. Get curious about how could it be possible. Look out into the world and find evidence that it is possible or that it's been done before. It doesn't have to have been done by you, but find evidence that it's been done before. And you find what you are looking for. We either prove that things are not going to work, or we prove that things are going to work. And that's a choice through what you actually look for evidence for. So look for evidence of what is possible. That's our first three. Gary, I'll hand it over to you for the next ones.
Great work, Alison. Awesome work. Let's go, folks. So 10x follow through. Do the most difficult thing first. Seriously, when you get to the start of the day, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's an apology, maybe it's some exercise, maybe it's going through some material you need to read. It's a report that you've been sent, or whatever it is. It's those little things that often you hate doing. The power of this from a motivation point of view is in the chat. When you actually get one of these things done that you don't like doing, how do you feel? One word in the chat, folks. How do you feel when you get these things done straight away that are annoying, that are painful, but you know they have to get done? Maybe if you're a business owner, you feel energized, Dennis. You feel accomplished at the center. You feel great, says Renata. Exactly, folks. These are motivating outcomes, right? The discipline to take the action. Remember, discipline precedes motivation. We said that. Discipline precedes motivation, folks. So with your discipline preceding your motivation, when you take these actions, you mentally free yourself up. You get energized. You feel great. You feel like you've accomplished, and it's just the start of the day, folks. It's a fair dinkum massive secret, folks, to do these tasks, especially if they can be done quickly. If they can be done quickly, get them done. They are so powerful. Let's go on to the next one. Complete every task once started. So when you start your tasks, right, complete it. Get it done. If it's a social media post and that's something you struggle with, maybe it's doing a selfie video, get it done, get it posted. We talk about in 10X World completing cycles. Complete every task once started. Now that can start, folks, with something as simple at the start of the day as completing the task of making your bed when you get out of it. Now, something like that, you might think, we're talking about motivation here, Gary, and this guy's talking about making my bed at the start of the day. If you make your bed at the start of the day, type the letter M in the chat, please. Let us know that, hey, I actually do that. Great work, Alison. Well done, Lani. Thanks, Janine. Awesome work. Facts are, there's a lot of us down this end who aren't making our beds every day. And yet, thanks, Hamish. Good work. I tell you what, there'd be some parents in the world feeling pretty proud of folk right now because they know they taught you well to do that. But it is a simple, my boys don't. Yeah, okay. So, Lani, if you got families, if you got children, teach them these motivators. Teach them. Yeah, 100%, Lani. Like, teach them. This stuff matters. You feel like, again, you feel great. You feel like you have accomplished something important. Next, over to you, Alison, for number 6.
Fantastic. And yeah, I love that eat the frog theory. Do the hard things first. So write down your goals first thing each day. So why do you think it is important to write down your goals first thing each day? Anyone in the chat, why do you think it's important to write down your goals first thing each day? and, to reinforce what you want. Exactly, Dennis. So it's about focus. Where are you going to put your mind's focus across the day? Right? Where are you heading? If you're not writing out your goals, you are at the will and the whim of all of the other inundation. We're all being inundated with other information, being pulled in multiple directions. It is that first moment that you get to focus your mind and focus yourself on where you're heading and what your direction is. So writing out your goals first thing in the morning. And a trick to that as well is the way you write them out. And it's not I will or anything like that. I am in present tense. I am. And it will allow you to have a very clear mind and keep reiterating and reinforcing what is important to you and not getting caught up in what you're writing. These are not this is not your to-do list. These are your goals, your big goals. What do you really want? Let yourself have an imagination. Let yourself dream. Write down. Don't analyze what you're writing down. Just let it flow. Don't pay too much bigger attention to whatever it is, because over time, day after day, you'll figure out that you keep repeating some things. Guess what? Those are the important ones. And then you want to work out what actions to take, but it allows you focus. And if you are then waning through the day, write it out again. Write it out again. If you're having one of those days, maybe you have to write out your goals a number of times to refocus. So write out your goals first thing each day on pen and paper, preferably. Have a monthly goals meeting with your family. Now, why is that important? Anyone in the chat? Why do you want to have a monthly goals? Now, in my family, we never used to do this. We actually have meetings every week, but at least monthly, right? So why do you think it's important to have a monthly goals meeting with your family or with someone else who's important to you, significant others, people around you? Why do you think that's important? Anyone in the chat? Why do you think it's important to have a goals meeting with your family? Yeah, so then everyone is working on the same page. Exactly. To be on the same page, to be working together towards something. A family is a team. It's a team effort so that everyone can support each other towards the same journey. Also, you're teaching your children and the other people in your life how important it is to have goals and direction. And you're sharing them so they can then become part of that. They can have an input or no input, or at least they know what's going on, right? Like I have always shared my goals, or we share our goals very openly with our daughter. My daughter is 15. The reason being is then she can contribute to it in some way, shape, or form. And she understands, okay, if mum's not available, for this period of time, like right now, right? I'm here. She understands I'm not available to help her with her homework right now because I'm here. I'm present for all of you because I'm working towards goals. Gary and I have big goals around helping every business within Australia be successful, and New Zealand for that matter. So, it's important to share that so she knows and she can buy into that and become part of it. Same with my husband. So allow those, if they don't know, how can they be a part of it? And if they're negative and they're not going to be supportive, then that's another conversation, right? How do you all get on the same page? But it definitely is super important to be sharing your goals at least monthly. And also, how are you all going? How are you tracking towards them? Support each other in each of your goals. So that is the next two. Gary, back over to you.
Thanks, Alison. And as you see, folks, these 21 ways to get and stay motivated are interdependent with each other. I hope you've been picking that up. So far, they're intermingled. They actually help build an exponential effect of motivation. When the more of these that you're practicing, the more motivation you'll find that you've got because of the discipline that comes out. What was the word I said in between discipline and motivation, folks? Can you remember the word in between? Type it in the chat. What was the word? We had it up on the presentation at the start. Discipline, something, motivation. Who can remember? Thanks, Dennis. It precedes motivation, right? So the discipline with these motivations that we're teaching you actually gives you the motivation. The more of them that you're doing, the more motivated you'll find that you'll be.
And just a quick reminder, if you are gaining a lot of information, like we're giving you a lot of information tonight, if you want to grab the VIP offer so that you can go back through this over and over again, the VIP offer will give you the recording. Sienna's going to pop the VIP offer in the chat. It will give you the recording and the workbook, and it's just $9. So if Sienna, if you can pop that in the VIP offer in the chat, that'd be great. Anyone who wants to take that up, because we are covering a lot, and it will be important. Go through it again and again and again. That's how you dial this in.
Thank you, Alison. So let's keep going. Number 8, never lower your target mentally. Never lower your target mentally. What does that mean? Many of you as business owners will have set yourselves an income goal. Chances are that goal's probably a bit too low. But if your income at the start of the month or the quarter is not where you want it to be, the highest probability is that you will lower your target. You'll say, I'm going to drop the target. I'm going to drop the goal, right? And a lot of people learned this at school. They went into a subject and they said, I'm going to do really well and I'm going to get above 80 or some number like that. And then they discovered it was a bit hard. And then what did they drop the number to, folks? Just so they could get a pass. Drop the number in the chat. What did people drop the number to? That at school and at university, if you went to university, you learned that this equals a pass, this number. What's the number, folks? Pop it in the chat. 50, Sienna, spot on, right? People believe 50 is a pass. If you've got just a job and you're doing 50% of your job, do you get to keep your job, folks? If you're a business owner and you drop your targets to 50%, are you going to get to keep a sustainable business? The chances no, right? You must hold on to your targets. You must stay focused on your targets and elevate your activity levels to make sure you achieve them. And obviously through what we teach through the group mentoring program, we teach people how to close that gap with your activity levels so that you can sustain your goals up this end and move and do what you have to do, because the world isn't perfect. You know, we can have all the plans in the world, but, you know, we discover that that activity level here is no longer achieving the income that I want. I've got to actually find a way to increase my activity levels to maintain that target. This is absolutely essential, folks, all right? It's absolutely essential that we're all maintaining those targets. Next, get so much attention, folks, that you are criticized for it. How many of you, and use the chat for this, type the letter M for me, if you are afraid of getting criticism, or even worse, and I'll say that in inverted commas, if you are afraid of getting criticism or haters on social media. Type the letter M for me in the chat. Dennis, Anna Maria, yes, with an exclamation mark there, exclamation mark. Thank you for your honesty there. Now, a lot of people are very afraid of putting themselves out there. Now, I can promise you this is true. I've said I've published 5 books. I've got 4 bestsellers. Alison's got 3 bestsellers with her 3 books. Do you reckon we've been criticized? Of course we've been criticized. Of course we've been told that that book isn't any good. Of course that's what happened, right? What you got to train yourself is that when you get criticized, it's a sign of success. We teach people in 10X, the haters aren't going to go away. And as Janine has said in the chat, the haters are going to hate anyway. We teach people to celebrate the haters. Get motivated by them, not demotivate them. Go, hey, the fact, Jing, yeah, that's it, right? Exactly. Do it anyway. Spot on, Jing. You know, you feel, you know, you can feel that pressure, but you do it anyway. That's discipline precedes motivation. And if you get a hater, have someone in your circle, and that's what we've created with the group mentoring program, a whole bunch of business owners, leaders, and sales managers who are like, hey, you know what? We went out, we did this massive action, we got some haters. You know, obviously we're working, because if you got 3% of hate, whatever it is, and you got 95%, 97% of support, Do you want to sacrifice the support and the success because of the haters and the dislikers and the criticism? It doesn't make mathematical sense, folks. And we go with the math at 10x. We do what the math tells us. And the math says, put yourself out there, be active, be prepared to get so much attention, you get criticized for it. And folks, the members of the group mentoring program, they get to see the 10x sales system, which is 7 steps that takes any business from where it is and the business knowledge that that owner's got up to this end. Those 7 steps is a global system that's been tested with hundreds of thousands of business owners. There's so many data points, it's not funny, that proves this model works, folks. And that's what we spend a lot of our time educating the members of that group mentoring program so they can put it into action in all their different businesses, like the office administration business of Janine. All right, Alison, next for number 10.
All right, number 10. Get in a mastermind group of winners. So again, who do you have around you that is on the same page and cheering you on? Or people who are getting better results than you, right? Look up, reach up, find people who are winning and surround yourself by them. That's number 10. Number 11. Reach up for new friends. So often we will reach sideways or reach down, right? So reaching down, you'll help someone. It's great. You want to help people. Fantastic. But who are you reaching up to? Or we reach sideways because we can get agreement, right? The people beside us, they can agree with our points of view. Oh, it's okay. You know, everything will be all right. No, reach up, because those people are going to go, keep going. Right? Keep pushing. Do what you need to do to create success. So who are you reaching up to? And who are you reaching down to? Be very aware. Find the right groups of people. Gary, let's keep moving so we can stay on point.
Number 12, work to your potential, not your quota. Now, this starts when you're an employee, folks. Why would you let someone else set your targets and goals? And if they are, and everyone else is complaining about them, make them higher. If you want to be a successful business owner and you're an employee at the moment, you need to practice the mindset of a business owner while you're an employee. Behave like a business owner now. Put in the time and effort right now as an employee. Train yourself that the concepts of 9 to 5, 40-hour weeks, 36-hour weeks, 32-hour weeks, 4-day weeks are not relevant for a business owner. They're not relevant for you. It's not how business owners roll. Now, strangely, in me saying that, business owners actually get more control over their time. They get to control their time, which we'll talk soon about as well. So make sure that you are working to your potential, not your quota. And it's the same for a business owner. Ask yourself, who is it that I need to be becoming? Who am I becoming? Again, we need to be progressing and growing our skill base. If we stay the same, the world's going to move past us. We need to know what we're becoming. So we've got to keep exploring our potential. Find the ways that you can improve your potential and do the work. So that's about quota as well. Be willing to fail, knowing that failure is impossible. Alison and I decided in November of 2023, with permission from Grant Cardone and his team in the USA, to start 10X Business Coaches program down under. Now, was it guaranteed to have people turn up to events? We got 8 people registered for our first event. We had 50 registered for tonight. We know when you do free events, a lot of people don't show up. You know, isn't that indicative of a lot of people? They'll register for something and then not show up because they're lacking motivation. So even tonight, it's a sign of the impact of lacking motivation. So we really want to congratulate all of you that did register and have actually turned up and shown that discipline. Give yourself a pat on the back for that, because that is understanding, hey, I'm not going to fail with my time when I turn up here tonight. I'm going to turn up and I'm going to make sure that I get some value out of this, right? Yeah, you're trusting some strangers. Clearly, Alison and I are some strangers. And you're trusting that we're going to give you some value for your time here tonight. So if we are giving you value, you've got even one piece of value for tonight that's made it worth your time, type the letter Y in the chat, please. We'll really appreciate that, because we are serious and authentic about giving people. Thank you, Janine, Dennis, Sienna. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Hamish. Really appreciate that too, because we are genuinely trying to make sure that we're proving to you, thank you, Lani, that we are serious about delivering. Thank you, Jing, as well. We really do appreciate that. So it's not possible to fail, folks. You can only learn, right? Quitting is not a solution in the 10X world. We do not quit. We have a go. Maybe it doesn't work. And then we learn. We make it better. We fix it, right? But failure is not an option. Alison.
Fantastic. So the next is around 10X purpose. Approach success as your duty. Imagine if you saw success as no other option. It's your duty. It's your duty to yourself, to your family, to society. It is your duty to become successful, not average, not half pie, which means you have to put all your effort in. And that's to any area. 10X is not just about business. 10Xing is about all areas of your life. Because to be a well-rounded individual, we want everything to be working better. Great if you have a successful business, but if your health's terrible, that's no good, right? So in all areas of your life, it is your duty to be successful. So where do you need to take responsibility and have success as your duty? Have a higher purpose than just money. Money's great. And in 10X, we freely talk about money, because if you can't talk about it and you can't confront it, you can't have it, right? And a lot of people won't talk about money. They get uncomfortable about talking about money, and we wonder why they don't have any. It's because they can't talk about it freely. So, however, beyond that, why? Why do you want a lot of money? Nothing wrong with wanting a lot of money. Great. We actually encourage it. We encourage you to want lots, because there's abundance out there, and quite frankly, they'll just print some more. So if you want a lot of money, there's nothing wrong with that. But think, why do you want it? For what purpose? What is the legacy play? How can you make a difference with that money? What is the reason beyond just the money? Because if you are just motivated by money alone, your motivation will come and go very quickly. So what's the reason beyond that? Why do you want the money? Have a very clear purpose, a very clear why, and it will keep you on point with motivation. Gary, back over to you.
Thank you, Alison. And I'm just about to pop in the chat that Grant Cardone's a self-made billionaire. And one of the things that he did was he actually discovered how money works, folks. He discovered how money works. And he's on a mission to teach everyone in the world, and we're part of that mission. As part of what we teach in the group mentoring program is actually how money and finance really works. That is not taught in schools. It's not taught in universities. Someone who was a self-made, came from poverty in Louisiana in the States, became a self-made billionaire. He learned what the wealthy already knew that don't teach anybody. And they don't like him. He gets a lot of hate because he's teaching the secrets of how money and wealth really works. It's just a bit of a side note there for some very, very important information that we share in the 10X world. So number 16, be honest with everyone, especially yourself. There is nothing more motivating than being able to be true and honest to yourself. How many people say things like to their friends, oh yeah, I did a workout this morning for an hour, and they did half an hour if they were lucky. How many people say, yeah, I committed to this program and they didn't show up? And they're out telling people, I committed. How many people, again, say that they've become a member of a health center? They go to a party and they go, hey, yeah, I go to a gym, but they haven't been for 5 months. They're paying the membership, but they haven't been. How many people commit to going on a holidays for themselves and don't do it? People are lying to themselves all the time, right? People are lying to themselves all the time. So it's really, really important that we are absolutely being honest and truthful to ourselves. Cut out all behavior that lowers self-esteem, folks. Cut out all behavior that lowers your self-esteem. So maybe that is not exercising. Not doing something is the same as doing something. It's still a behavior. Maybe it's the food we put in the mouth. Maybe it's drug use. Maybe it's stuff we know that actually makes me feel bad. Every time you do something, you go, I know I shouldn't do that. I really know I shouldn't do that. That's a behavior that is causing demotivation because you don't like yourself, folks, right? So whenever we're doing that, maybe you lose your mind at people. You get angry and you're yelling at people and you know straight away, I don't like that. That's a lowering self-esteem behavior when you're behaving like that around people. You got to go and learn what you need to learn so you can shift that behavior, folks, because it's affecting your self-esteem. And when your self-esteem goes down, your confidence goes down, your discipline goes down, and your motivation goes down.
Absolutely. So the importance of part of motivation is energy, right? Like we have to move something somewhere. So exercise every day. Now, that does not mean you need to run a marathon every day. It might be 10 squats and a walk around the block, whatever it is, but move your body. Because quite frankly, when everybody wakes up, no one's highly motivated when they wake up. You've been asleep. Your body's been asleep. You need to move it in order to get the energy flowing. Everyone feels the same way, right? Because you have been in a state of rest and sleep. You need to wake your body up and get it moving. As soon as you do, you will feel better. So you can create energy. Energy is something that is created. If everyone stood up and did 10 star jumps right now, would you have more or less energy? Pop it in the chat. More or less energy if you had to stand up and do 10 star jumps. Exactly. More. Why? Because you just generated it, right? Like you just generated that. You didn't have it before, but now you do. So maybe if you're feeling low in energy, right, in that day, maybe do 10 star jumps or the equivalent, whatever that is for you to get some energy moving. Yeah, smile. Exactly. Smile moves your energy. It makes you feel better. So any of those little exercise things move your energy and create some more energy, even when you don't feel like it. You will have those moments. These are strategies, no matter how you're feeling, no matter how many of those moments. Yeah, dance, exactly. Put on some great music and dance. No matter how you're feeling, you can get yourself out of that feeling through these strategies. All right, next one. Eat the healthiest foods that you can afford. Like Gary was saying before, you know, those things that lower your self-esteem. If you're constantly reaching for sugary foods, I can tell you right now that you will be in a brain fog and it's not great for your body. You even know that it's not good for your body. Yet you do it. If you're doing it anyway, you are choosing to lower your self-esteem. So put good things in your body. If you want to be at a high level of performance, you need to treat the thing you live in the best way possible. So are you eating the healthiest foods that you can afford, right? Maybe less out of a packet and more fresh. It can be as simple as that. I have a client recently, we had this conversation, oh, but I don't know what to eat. And I said, do you know the difference between something that has chemicals in it out of a packet and something that comes off a tree or out of the ground or from an animal? And he laughed. And I'm like, well, there you go. You know, the basic principles of nutrition. Every time you go put something in your mouth, has it got chemicals? Does it come out of a packet or is it off a tree, out of the ground, or from an animal? Make those choices. So it don't, and we can overcomplicate it so much. Now I know I'm simplifying, but let's just keep it really basic for tonight because we only have a few more minutes together. So Gary, back over to you.
Thank you, Alison. Number 20, 2 to go, folks. 2 to go of our 21 ways to get and stay motivated as a business owner, could be a manager, leader, as you've said, and also a career person. Look to control time rather than manage it. Look to control time rather than manage it. In the chat, folks, put in the total number of hours available to everyone here tonight per week. What is the total number of hours we've all got available to us on a weekly basis? Who knows the number? If you're good at math, you'll be able to quickly work it out because it's 7 times 24. What is it? That's right. Who knows the number? Come on, 168, Dennis Ryan. Folks, there's 168 hours a week to sleep, to eat, to work, to make love, to dance, to have friends, to go out, to be a business person, to do everything you can imagine in your life. You've actually got 168 hours. Tonight, you're donating one of those 168 hours to this session. So when you reflect on the 20 lessons so far, how much have you controlled your time to get the most out of this 1 hour? Have you let yourself drift? Have you been distracted? Or have you been committed to this 1 hour of content? Have you controlled your time? It's not about managing it, it's about controlling it. And one of the things that we teach in our world is how to go from just one-on-one as a business person to one-to-many. And that's a big skill, to go from one-to-one to one-to-many, because guess what? If you're presenting to a large audience, compared if you had to do that one-on-one, you're multiplying your time. You're actually getting more than 168 hours out of the week, because if you had 100 people for 1 hour, you just got 100 hours of value just then and there. That's what control your time means, folks. Okay, it's a different way of seeing time. And the final one is keep statistics on everything important. Keep statistics on your health. Keep statistics on how much exercise you're doing. Keep statistics on your activities in your business. Keep statistics on what your numbers are. How many of you in your businesses do you know right now your exact numbers for this month so far? How much money's sitting in the bank? What's your turnover been this month? How much money's owed to you right now with invoices that are outstanding? Do you know the numbers? Do you know the numbers of your critical activities? And if you don't, start collecting the data. So, even tonight, Alison and I will be reviewing. We got 50 registrants. We had this many people turn up. We had 13 people turn up. And as a result, we've gone from 50, so 37 people didn't turn up. We're looking at what these ratios are for the effort that we need to put in to increase those numbers over time. Tonight is numbers that's going to contribute to our data. So, folks, keep statistics on everything that matters that's connected to your goals and your targets. Keep statistics on everything that's connected to your goals and your targets. So, folks, once again, we want to thank you for joining us and like to remind you about our group mentoring program, the 45 minutes. We're going to educate you. We're going to practice. We're going to give you accountability to turn up and commit and learn for your business. You're going to do that deep dive on the 10X mindset, marketing, sales, follow-up, and access to 30 plus hours. I'm going to show you this in a second, right? I'm going to show you this because we're going to prove to you that this actually does exist. Remember, it's $100 off per month at the moment, $197 per month just tonight. It's $1,000 saving if you choose to come along and join that with us, folks. And I'm going to show you the group mentoring program where it is so that you can actually see the evidence of what's actually in there if you choose to come and join us. So this is a password protected page, as you can imagine. So there's some rules that we follow as group members. There's a welcoming and onboarding video that you get to see. Then there's a whole bunch of resources. There's a super life goal setting exercise, which is just brilliant for a whole of life perspective. 20 rules of closing, which is really important for selling. A marketing booklet on how to fill a pipeline. Then there's our original 4 series webinar on the 10x mindset, 10x marketing, 10x sales, and 10x follow-up. You've got access to all those hour-long recordings to start with. All the members of the group get also Alison and my first ever collaboration as co-authors on the Mindset Mastery, Unleash Your Business's Full Potential, and that is free for group mentoring members. We've actually got the second book out next week. The Sales Mastery book is coming out, and then we've got Follow-Up Mastery after that. We call it our Business Mastery book series. Then you get into the mentoring program recordings. You'll notice here, folks, that we've got 10x follow-up. That's what we did last night, and we worked through a 365-day follow-up plan for all of our group mentoring members so that they could actually have a deliberate plan for following up with people that do not close. So guess what, folks? There's strategies to do that sort of stuff. The week before, we were focusing on the 10x sales system that I mentioned to you earlier. The week before that on revenue idea generation, where we actually had members come out and spotlight, and we worked together to help those members generate new ideas for revenue for their businesses. We had the 8 reasons why buyers won't close. So why aren't you closing them? And we go on and on all the way down till the start of the year, folks. So once again, Alison Wheeler and I and Sienna would like to thank you all for coming along. We'd love to see in the chat your key takeaway from this evening. What is just one key takeaway from you that you have found beneficial for you personally from tonight's session? What's just one key takeaway from you? Out of all the notes that you've taken, what's the one that really stands out for you that you believe you can commit to help raise your motivation for your business or your career? Okay, Dennis, cut out all the behaviors that lower self-esteem. Thank you. Great start. Thanks, Leon. You're welcome. Thank you. No worries. Understand that. To start seeing success as a duty, Lani. It's such a powerful thing. It's actually my duty. When you fully commit to that and understand that, it gives you the motivation to take action. Don't lower your goal. Time quota management. Thank you there for Leon. Okay, folks. Thank you for those kind takeaways. Once again, on behalf of Alison Wheeler and myself, Gary Ryan and Sienna Ryan, we'd like to thank you for your time. Those of you that have accessed the VIP, you will be able to access this full recording from tomorrow. Alison, any last words from you?
Oh, look, we appreciate all of you coming along and the great takeaways as well. And now, guys, it's time to go and implement, right? Implementation is the key. And we do look forward to meeting many of you, those who are already part of our group mentoring, and all of those of you that intend joining our mentoring. We will look forward to meeting many of you next week, Tuesday night, which will be the first session that you'll have access to. So looking forward to meeting many of you further over on our group mentoring program. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Gary, and thanks, Sienna, behind the scenes.